What's up, legends? Helldivers 2 just dropped yet more new content, and gosh damn it, I love seeing it. It feels like we're all the way back in March all over again, where we had updates what felt like nearly every other day. But this new content is a little bit different, as you can tell from the title of the video. Helldivers 2 just released its first ever premium assault rifle and premium armor set that they've launched in collab with Killzone 2. Now, what do I mean by premium? What I mean by that is that the only way so far you can unlock this weapon and armor set is by purchasing it through the Superstore at a whopping 615 super credits for the assault rifle and 500 super credits for the armor. I'm not even going to mention the cape or the helmet. I'm one of those guys that will only spend in-game currency on something if it actually impacts gameplay, so we'll focus on those. That's 1,115 super credits for both of these, which is equivalent to about $11, seeing how super credits average out to about $1 per 100 super credit. Now, of course, that's if you purchase super credits. You can actually farm super credits for free somewhat efficiently. I try to make a video on that to help you guys pump up your super credit bank account as soon as I can, but things have been pretty hectic. I know what you're thinking, but Takibo, we've seen other armors in the Superstore before, so this isn't really the only time they've listed a premium armor set. And yes, that is true. However, this is the first time they've listed an armor in the Superstore that has a completely unique armor passive that so far no other armor set in the entire game has. And this is apparently the first out of the 2 Superstore drops they're doing with Killzone 2. The next one will be coming out in 5 days when this Superstore cycle ends, and I can kind of guess what the next Superstore drop will include. Today, they've also given us a new support weapon to experiment with on the illuminate front, named the StA X-3 W.A.S.P Launcher. I've used it a tiny bit so far, but it looks pretty good. It doesn't quite seem to be a great choice for dealing with massive units such as the Harvester, but it is insane at dealing with medium units. With only one Wasp, we're able to one-shot an Overseer, which is a really beefy medium unit, so this really gets me thinking that against the Automaton especially, this thing is going to be insane, probably one-hitting Rocket Striders and Devastators. I honestly can't wait to try it out. I won't be launching a full video on experimenting the Wasp yet. I'll wait for it to be released across every faction to do so, so make sure you sub if you haven't yet. I will be releasing a gameplay with it tomorrow, but anyways, I digress. So let's take a look at the new premium armor set and assault rifle, and let's start off with the latter. The assault rifle is going to cost you 650 super credits, and statistically, I find it to fall in between the AR-23 Liberator and the AR-23A Liberator Carbine. All three of them deal the same amount of 70 damage per shot, and the new StA-52 assault rifle has a fire rate that falls just about between both of them. Where the Liberator has a 640 fire rate, the Carbine has a 920 fire rate, the StA will sit at a solid 790. As for recoil, again, almost dead in the middle. You've got 14 recoil on the Liberator, 19 recoil on the StA-52, and you've got the Carbine's 25 recoil. Where the StA-52 shines statistically though against both of these Liberator variants is both in its capacity as well as its reload time. First, for capacity, it bolsters 11 more ammo than either of the Liberators, which is a whole nearly 25% increase in ammo capacity, which is no joke a really good improvement, and it means the StA-52 has officially the most ammo out of any primary weapon in the game, aside from the Liberator Concussive, but that's not even really a lethal type of weapon, so doesn't really count. It has even more ammo than all of the SMGs as well, and it is worth noting though that despite it having increased ammo per magazine, the StA-52 will carry less spare magazines, 6 to be exact, plus the one on your weapon. You're looking at about 392 rounds overall, whereas either of these carbines will carry in total about 405 rounds. Small difference between these, and I think it's worth the trade-off honestly. You get less reloads, which means more uptime in dealing damage. Overall, it's a huge plus for the StA-52 in my opinion. And speaking on reloads, this is another way in which the StA-52 shines. The StA-52 only takes 2.5 seconds to reload its magazine, which is better than most weapons in the game. It's the same reload time as the Knight submachine gun, the Purifier, and even the Liberator Carbine as well. So knowing these statistics, how does the weapon actually feel? Personally, I find it feels really good. The RPM is not too crazy, causing a ton of recoil. It's actually very balanced and extremely easy to control, even without armor sets that assist you with controlling recoil. Of course, you should probably still crouch down if you want to maximize your efficiency when spraying assault rifles, but yeah. I love the recoil. It definitely feels like it's in a great spot for making it both fire very quickly and have an easy time controlling it. For the illuminates, this will shine against hordes of voteless zombies. You've got a ton of ammo and you spray down entire hordes with no issues. And often, you don't even have to reload, and when you do actually happen to have to reload, it goes by pretty quickly. As for the overseers, it's a pretty bad pick. It will take nearly a full magazine of semi-accurate shot to kill a single overseer, so that's a huge pass for me on that end. Moving over to the Terminids, much like most assault rifles, you'll be able to deal with the small guys such as warriors, hunters, pouncers, scavengers, and even the alpha commanders pretty easily, but you won't be able to damage hive guards, front plate for example, or any heavier armored units, as you can already expect. I feel it does do a much better job at handling swarms than either of the other Liberator choices, so that's definitely worth noting. And lastly, for automatons, honestly, the truth is, light armor penetrating weapons will just overall kind of suck in higher difficulties, seeing how most of the automaton threats pack a ton of armor. But as I mentioned earlier, the recoil is super easy to control, so if you enjoy ARs against the automatons, this one's going to be an amazing pick for you. You pretty much one-hit all of the Devastators very easily. So summarizing it, is this assault rifle worth the purchase? The answer is simple. Do you enjoy assault rifles? If so, then yes. This is simply an upgraded version of a Liberator in my opinion. It's like a Liberator 2.0. If not, then you won't really be missing out. Looking at the bigger picture, taking all of the primary weapons into consideration, this assault rifle isn't even anywhere near like the top 5 weapons, so don't sweat it too much. Now moving on to the armor set, we've got a whole new armor passive here, the Acclimated armor passive, which reads, provides 50% resistance to fire, gas, acid, and electrical damage. Now this armor passive, in my opinion, is a much bigger deal than the assault rifle, especially for you guys that play with randoms. You see, for a solo player, if they're building for, say, a flamethrower build with like napalm strikes and such, it'd be a pretty good pick to bring an armor set with the inflammable armor passive so as to not die from their own fire as much. But if you're playing with randoms, or just in groups in general, you've got teammates bringing gas strikes, you've got teammates bringing napalm strikes, you've got players bringing Tesla towers, and even the Blitzer shotgun, and this armor set will just neglect a lot of that team damage and spare you of a lot of accidental deaths. That is, of course, not stating the obvious advantage that this armor set is also going to protect you from a lot of enemy damage as well. For example, fire damage comes from hulks and explosive barrels. Gas damage does come mostly from player stratagems. Acid damage will come from Bile Titans and Hunters. And electrical damage come from Harvesters and Illuminate Teslas, just to name a few. So unlike the previous armor sets we've gotten in the game, where we would have to specialize our defenses on only one specific type of damage, this armor set kind of covers all grounds, and it gives you a whopping 50% at that. Realistically, if you play in groups, this is easily going to be one of the best defensive armor sets in the entire game, allowing you to play a lot more aggressive without risking as many accidental kills. Or even if you play solo, honestly, and like to bring a mix of, let's say, orbital gas strikes with napalm strikes and the Tesla, or you enjoy fighting off the Illuminates, this is going to be a great pick. So summarizing it again, is the armor set worth the purchase? Yes, I do believe it's going to be a great pick, especially for like 90% of the players that play online with random groups. This is easily one of the best defensive armor passives we've seen so far. So if I had to pick between the armor set or the assault rifle, I would pick the armor set every time. But yeah, with that said, thank you guys very much for watching, man. Tomorrow I'll release a gameplay with the new stuff, and I'll be catching you legends on the next one. Peace!